Hi guys, in this video we're going to learn how to model and render a simple chair in Blender. So without further ado, let's get started. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to hide the camera and the lamp because we're not going to need it for now. So where you see the camera, just click on the eye icon and also for the light as well, so that we don't see it in the viewport. We're going to start off by modeling the chair's seat, and I'm going to be using this default cube to start off the modeling. So we want to use real world scaling for the chair seat, and I found that 22% of its current size is the most ideal size for our chair. So all you need to do is hit S.22 to get about 22% of its original size. And I think that's looking quite good. Go into front view and then hit SZ.05. And that's the ideal sort of thickness for our chair. If you want, you can make it more thicker or less thicker. It's really up to you. That's looking quite good. Now what you want to do is tab into edit mode and hit Control R on your keyboard to add a loop cut right in the middle and then left click. Do the same thing on the other side as well. Control R, left click, left click. Then go ahead and select these vertices on the side, same as these ones, and then hit X, delete vertices, so that you're left with one small little square over here. Then go into the modifiers tab, hit add modifier, mirror modifier, and then also go ahead and add in another modifier and mirror modifier again, but this time change the X to Y. Also turn on clipping for both. Perfect. Now tab into edit mode and you should only have this small area to work with. Since we are having the seat mirrored on both the X and the Y axis, we can just model one of the legs and it will automatically mirror onto all sides. So go ahead and hit Control R and then add in a loop cut by left clicking and then dragging somewhere, let's say over here. Do the same thing on this side, Control R and then left click and then move it somewhere over, let's say here. This really depends on how thick you want your chair leg to look. Then go over here and select face select and then right click the face that you want, where you want the chair legs to come out of. Then hit E to extrude and then right click and then scale it down just a little bit. And now you want to extrude it all the way to about how long you want your chair legs to be. So I find that about 4 small squares is okay. We'll modify this part later. Okay, so the chair legs are now done. I just want to further adjust the shape some more. So I'm just going to go ahead and select this small face over here and just add a little bit of directionality to it. Instead of keeping everything solid and straight, let's just add a little bit of directionality. So if I go and hit GX and move it out like this, we sort of get this sort of shape. The direction sort of going in this kind of angles. So it makes our chair model look a little bit more interesting. Same on this side as well. We can just go grab Y and move it like so. And the legs of our chair are now done. Cool. I might also go ahead and make the chair base a little bit more thicker. Maybe a little bit like that. Yeah, something like that looks good. Alright, so once you've done that, we can go ahead and apply the second mirror modifier. So make sure you tab out of edit mode and back into object mode. And what we want to do is, for the second mirror modifier, go ahead and hit apply, the one that's ticked Y. Okay, so now we have something that looks like that. So now we're going to work on the back part of our chair. So in other words, the part of the chair where we rest our head on. So for this one, what I want to do is, if I go over here, yep, like that. We're going to start off by using this square over here, and I think that is quite ideal, the size I want to use over here. All you need to do is just hit E and extrude up. Okay, something like that looks okay. And just to go up to about how high you think it should go. If this is going 4 squares down, then this one should be a little bit more than that. Maybe we can go 5 squares up. Yeah, something like that. But we can maybe a bit more than that actually. Maybe 6 squares. Yeah, something like that. Cool. So let's go with that. And what we want to do now is we want to also add in another 2 loop cuts over here. So to do that, just go Control R, and then before clicking anything, just scroll your mouse up once, and then left click, and then left click anywhere you like. Then go S, Z, and then scale it down on the Z axis, and then let's create a thickness of something around there. This one really depends up to you, how you want it to look. So I might move it to somewhere near the top, and then go ahead and change this to face select mode again. Select this face over here, and then hit E to extrude, and then S, Y to scale it on the Y axis to look something like that. And now go E again, and then just move it all the way till it snaps with the other half of the mirror. So we have something that looks like that. Do the same thing on the bottom part of the chair. So Control R, scroll once, left click again, S, Z, scale it in, down. This one can be a little bit more thinner. G, Z, move it down to near the base, I guess. And then I will go to face select and pretty much do the same thing. E, and then S, Y, make it thinner. And then go E, and then make it lock into place, like so. So now you can see that our chair is really starting to take some shape now. So now you can see that our chair is really starting to take some shape. So we can make it look even better. With the normal chair, the front part of the chair base sticks out a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. So select that face, select this face, and then just hit G, Y, and then let's just make it stick out a little bit, like maybe about that much. And also it tends to flare out as well, the chair. So they might go like this, and then, oh no, maybe not like that, this one as well. And then from the top view I might rotate it so that it goes sort of in this shape. And I'm going to grab, GX to move it out. That's too much, I think. Let's just do that again, rotate a little bit. So just be very subtle with this part. Move it out. And I think something like that looks good. Okay, now we'll just finish off the chair part by just adding in some little wooden pieces over here. So to do that, it's quite simple. Just go tab into edit mode, Control R, and let's add, let's say 1, 2, yeah, let's just add maybe 5 loops. So to do that, just go Control R, scroll up until you get these 5 loops. So that's 6. 5 loops over there, looks good. Do the same at the top, Control R, 5 loops. Okay, and then what you want to do is go ahead and select face select. Select this face, select that face, select that face. Same with this one. Let's change this from, where is this one? From median point to individual origins. Now what you want to do is go E and then scale it in. Actually, we won't scale it in, sorry. Just go E and then go SY. So you make it thinner. Yeah, that's what we want to do. Cool. Or you might make it even more thinner. Yeah, something like that. Now what you want to do is go X and delete faces only. So you have something that looks like that. I'm just going to go in here and also delete this face over here. And go to edge select and delete this edge over here. And that edge as well. Okay, so it should be clipping. Cool. So we want to now fill it up. So what we're going to do is we want to go ahead and select, let's just go to vertex select mode, select these 4 verts, select these 4 verts at the top where it should be bridging, and then go W bridge edge loops if I can find it. So as a Control E. Yep, Control E, bridge edge loops, so that you bridge those 2 loops together. Do the same with this one, select these 4 verts, then select the matching 4 verts at the top, shift right click to select multiple vertices, then Shift E, oh not Shift E, sorry, Control E, bridge edge loops, and do the same thing for the final one as well. Control E, bridge edge loops. And the modeling of our chair is now complete. I think we can perfect this part a little bit more. Maybe that's a little too much sticking out, so we can make it go a little bit less. Oops. This part, maybe we can rotate it in a little. Yeah, something like that is looking okay. Okay, now that we have this chair done, we can make it look a bit more interesting by adding, again, more directionality to it, because everything that looks flat and straight tends to look quite boring in the 3D world. So let's just go ahead and add a little bit of directionality. So I want to go ahead and maybe throw in, like, say 3 more loops over here, and then what we want to do is we want to go ahead and say select all the verts right in the middle, sorry, all the edges right in the middle, like so, and then let's go over here and change this from disable to connected, or we can say just go enable, and then oops, then press G, and then you'll see that all these vertices are moving together. That's because we enabled proportional editing, and that means all the vertices nearby will also get affected. So let's scroll down, and let's just maybe play around with just this one. So what I want to do is I want to try to add this sort of a bit of a curve to the back, because real chairs tend to have a little bit of a curve that goes around like that. So I'm going to go GY, and then scroll down just to get the right kind of shape, and add in a bit of a curve. Yeah, something like that. GY. Cool. And while I'm there, I might also go ahead and perhaps add in 3 loop cuts or 4 loop cuts to each of these ones. Sorry. And then we might go ahead and select, say, Alt right click this one, Shift Alt right click these ones, and then actually maybe not. What we'll do is we'll just select a bunch of these top ones. Good enough. And then turn off the proportional editing and just add, just rotate it. Press R from side view and rotate it so that you get a little bit more of an interesting shape. Don't make anything look too straight. And maybe move it back on the y-axis. Yeah, something like that. Cool. So I think that is good enough. So the basis of our chair is now done. If you want us to make it a little bit more interesting, I think we can try to play around with this shape as well. Grab X. Alright, so good enough. Now the modeling part of our chair is done. So let's go ahead and start to texture and shade this. So let's jump over to the UV editing tab. Let's go ahead and save my work just in case. And then we're going to start to UV unwrap everything. So I'll first off go ahead and select, I want to keep the mirror modifier on because I want it to reflect onto the other side. It saves me half the job of having to UV unwrap everything. And what I want to do is just want to go ahead and create seams everywhere. So go to edge select and just maybe select this edge loop around. Let's, oops, sorry. Let's add in, select that one and then that one. Okay. Oops, turn off proportional editing so that we can see everything better. Okay, good enough. I'm gonna go ahead and hit Control E, mark seam. So it's sort of like we're making a, we're creating like a cut in our model. So that when we UV unwrap it or unfold it, it'll be easier to texture. And I think, yeah, this part is not so important, so I'm going to go ahead and make a cut there, and maybe also a cut over here as well. So Control E, mark seam, and do the same for this one as well. Control E, mark seam, and also these ones around over here. Okay, Control E, mark seam. Cool. And over here, we might just go all these ones just around. Maybe that one. Control E, mark seam, and just this part over here as well. Control E, mark seam. Also these ones as well. Actually, with this one, I'll forget about any of this top stuff. I'm just going to use project from view for this part. So I think that should be okay. Okay, so now what you want to do is go ahead and hit A and then go U, unwrap. Oh, that's a very poor unwrap. It doesn't look very good. That's because it says object has a non-uniform scale. So let me do that again. So object has non-uniform scale. Unwrap will operate on a non-scaled version of the mesh. So that's not good. So what you want to do is, that's because the scaling of this object is wrong. We have to reset the scale so that the scale will show 1, 1, 1. So we just need to apply the scale. So go Control A, apply scale. So it's now like a normal mesh, a properly scaled mesh. I don't know how to explain it. So just have to go. So you just have to go tab into edit mode, U, unwrap. So that's looking better, but I guess I need to do one more thing. I need to also go ahead and apply the mirror modifier. There we go. And now select everything, U, unwrap. Okay, still some parts are looking a little odd. That's because all these bits over here. Control L. Oh no, sorry. I'm just going to go to the front view and then let's just turn off this one. Show limits, show whole scene transparent, so we can select everything through it, and just select all. And also let's change to face select mode if I can. Where are we? Here. And then just highlight all these ones over here, so that we select just the top part of the chair. And then from front view, just go U, project from view, and then just scale it up. For the rest of them, actually let's move this up to the side. For the rest of them, we'll R90 and then just scale it up. Okay, so good enough. So now once you've UV unwrapped it, let's go ahead and start to add the textures and shading to it. So the texture shading, I'm going to change over to the shading tab, and if I can go to where the camera is, maybe you can turn on the camera now. Let's just move the camera closer. Let's just rotate the chair around and move the camera closer so that we can see our chair better. Okay. I'm going to be using the same wooden texture that I used from the dining table video. So if you haven't seen the dining table video, go ahead and check that out. I'll also provide the link to the texture in the description of this video below. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring in that wood texture. I want to bring in the albedo texture and the roughness texture and also the normal map. Okay, so the color goes directly into the base color. Let's go ahead and save just in case. The roughness goes into the roughness. And finally the normal map. So if I just add in a converter, not a converter, I think it's a vector normal map. I'll plug the color into that and then the normal into the normal. Make sure to change the color part of this to non-color data. And that's looking too big. So let me just quickly change this to the UV image editor. Tab into edit mode and let's just scale this by say 2. It's looking nice, but it's looking a bit wet, too wet for my liking. So let's control that with a color ramp. So converter color ramp, and let's put that between the roughness node and the roughness texture. And simply we can just play around with these sliders to control how much of wetness we want. So maybe I might move the white down so we don't get as much wetness in our render. So if I move this down, we get less and less wetness. So maybe something like that is quite nice. We can play around with the strength of the normal map, but I think for the most part that's looking quite good. Alright, so that's it. That is the basics of modeling a simple chair in Blender. Hope this video has been useful to you, and please like, share and subscribe if you like this kind of content. Thanks for watching.